Okay, we are live. Let's see, we are live. What's up? What's up, everyone? What's up? Just give me like 2 seconds because still getting hang of it. A lot of people coming in. How are you all doing? I haven't seen any comments yet. Give me 2 seconds. Hi, Trinity. Hi, Akash. Hi, Nimra, Priyal. Hi, what's up? Hi, Akhil. Hi, Omkar. Amok. Hey, Sumanta, Namish. How are you? Aniket. Hey, man. What's up? Uh, Rakesh. Hi, Jeel. Hi, Rakesh Narayan. Arun. How's Masters going? Masters going fine. I have some exams right now, so it's been a little bit busy, but still okay. Hey, Vivek. Hey, Vivek, how's your trip going on? Are you still traveling or did you? Oh, what's up, Bharat? How are you? Is it like, I'm not sure what time is it in Germany, but what's up? Hey, Jill. Hi, Nimish. Is he live as well? Uh, Bharat is here. Yeah. Slow. Akhil, what's up? Um, how cold is it? It's -7 right now. How's How's you, Brody? Good, Rishabh. I'm doing superb. How are you all doing? Let me see really quick. What are your plans for vacation? I think I'll just go to yeah, I'll go to Chicago. 1646. Hey, Jill. Hey, how's Purdue treating me? Purdue is treating me fine. We do have Rishabh as well on the live session today. I'm talking to him right now. Okay. Uh, I'm great, guys. Bharat, like a lot of followers here as well, man. Um, look who's. How much should you spend making SOP? Yeah, Bharat is here. Hi, Manikya. Hi, Karan. How are you? Let me. Hi, Parth. Okay, done, Joe. He probably no Nemish. I don't think he'll do PhD. Bharat is not gonna do PhD for sure. Where are you in US? I am in West Lafayette. Hi, Priyal. Hi, how are you? You can just hit the like button so that I know you can hear me and see me properly. Thanks, Manikya. Um, Bharat, we should still do that Instagram live session which I was talking about. Okay, Rishabh is here.
What's up?
Awesome. Everything's working fine.
Hmm?
Everything's
I
fine.
went to YouTube for a second and I messaged you there. Send me the link.
Yeah, I saw your message.
Yeah,
Okay, let's just wait two more minutes and then we'll start.
sure.
Yeah.
What's the view count? Let me check.
103. Hey Priyal, cost of Black Friday? That's a odd question to ask. Um, what
Yeah.
else? I'm just looking at the comments right
How do I maintain my hair? Jesus Christ, dude, I don't. I have to get a haircut. Like seriously, I've been waking up every day for the past like 10 days and I'm like, shit, this needs to go. Um like I woke up like 25 minutes ago and I was like, I probably should shower because if I don't shower, it's gonna look like shit.
now. You realize, right? We are live.
Yeah, someone responded. Someone asked
Okay.
me a question. Yeah.
Okay. I just thought that was so random.
No, no, don't. I'm not that narcissistic that I'll just go off on a rant about my hair for no reason on YouTube.
Priyal, what kind of lifestyle vlog do you want? I don't understand that. What is CMA? I have no idea. Um, okay, let's. Rishabh, somebody's asking, do you still work at MIT Media Lab?
No, I don't. I may in the future, but I'm not interested in research at the moment.
I think I'm just going to introduce you and then we can start off. So everyone who's coming in new, who hasn't been on my channel, thanks for coming in. Hopefully you'll subscribe after this, watching this live session. We have been having a lot of queries and I thought we'll have one more live session. Last one was, there's crazy traffic on there, and Rishabh agreed on getting on one more live session. So just to give you a brief, Rishabh is an undergrad student. Like he just finished, he graduated from Brown University. Also, he was the only Indian to get full scholarship in 2013 for his undergrad studies. That means like everything covered, even flight tickets. So he's one guy which I know has a lot of background in reviewing statement of purposes and resume, and I thought it'll be good for everyone if we can give you some tips. Yep, and Rishabh can introduce himself right now.
No, I think you said everything relevant.
But still, like if about your work and everything, if people still don't know, like somebody maybe some new.
Yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail, I suppose, but this is an area that, you know, as Parth mentioned, once post getting into Brown, there was it was a rare event, relatively, particularly because of where I come from, which is Patna, and so this sort of pattern started where a lot of people started asking me questions and started asking me about how to navigate the process. And I started helping them over the course of the 4 years of my undergrad. And so I started to get very interested in this space of how people tackle admissions in India. And yeah, you know, I've spoken to a bunch of professors and former department chairs or current department chairs about how they look at applications, and sort of accumulated a lot of sort of information about how the process actually works on the inside, particularly. And I'm actually working on a project related to this, which maybe we'll talk about at some point in the future. But yes, this is something I've invested a lot of time and energy on. So I probably could answer a bunch of questions. And yeah, I think that's good enough to get started.
Okay, cool. Maybe let's just hit off with the topic that you have been reviewing a lot of statement of purpose, right? Like people submitted that and then you have been reviewing them. Do you have any comments on that you should avoid this mistake for sure? Because I know we cannot review, at least you cannot review more than uh, a specific number of SOPs. You don't have time for that. So do you have some tips which you would like to mention, which you thought that, okay, people are making this redundant mistakes in every one of them?
Yeah, so I think we touched upon this last time a little bit. Actually, side note, we have, I think, we've done about 20 SOPs, and by December 10th, I think we'll be finished with everyone. So stay tuned, be patient, and you'll get decent feedback. One of the things that I've basically been doing is eliminating and crossing out everything that shouldn't be there. So that cuts off, you know, at least some of your effort, and just taking away the things that shouldn't be in an SOP make a huge difference. So that relates to, I guess, the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I've seen in most SOPs is you know, it's written like an essay, like a narrative, or like what is my life like, or what is my life about kind of essay. And that's not really important or effective at all. I think you should really stick to talking about technical stuff. I think you should really stick to talking about sort of research problems you're interested in, or talk about substantial stuff, not wishy-washy stuff like, you know, as I've said in the past, I saw a computer at the age of 5 and then I was inspired, or I saw a rock at the age of 6 and my mom said, you're going to be a geologist, or something like that. So those kinds of things, like, know your audience, right? Your audience is this very qualified set of professors, and they barely have any interest in knowing your life story. What they want to know is, are you qualified, and are you smart and intelligent enough to be able to do advanced coursework, and can you potentially do research? So that's one thing. The other thing that I saw criminally common was, don't talk about extracurriculars or community work or blah 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 blah. Like, that's not really relevant for a master's in science, particularly application. The maybe the most you can talk about, I think, that's relevant is IEEE or some kind of like society or club that you were part of that was still scientific or technical nature. But that's what you should really focus on. You shouldn't try to stray too much from that. Yeah, I'll stop. That's the most common thing that I've seen, and that's part of what I've been doing, is really removing most of the stuff that's extraneous or not really useful or doesn't add value to your application.
Sweet. Cool. Let's just take 2 questions from the list. Okay. Oh, I want to transfer from India to US for my UG. Can I? I think you are the better person to do that.
Yeah, you can. Transfer applications are really, really rare. Like, the selection rates and the process is much, much more stringent than most of the things, because it's sort of unnatural. When you come here, you actually have to adapt quite a bit, stuff like that. So you can, but you have to have done really well in your college, and you need to essentially convince the committee that there's a real need or there's a real reason why you're transferring.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me see what questions are there. Do you have any questions that you want to pick and answer?
Yeah, I'm looking at them. Hitesh says, my counselor said that your SOP must convey a story about you. You lost me at my counselor said. No, jokes apart, it needs to convey a story, not really like in the sense of like a biographical movie story. What it needs to convey is a cohesive sort of narrative about what you're interested in terms of sort of technical stuff. It doesn't need to convey like Slumdog Millionaire Part 2. Like, that's not what the story means, and I think most people approach it as this like essay. It's not. That's not what it's supposed to be. It's a statement of purpose. It's supposed to talk about your purpose and your background, and particularly in hard technical terms. So yes, that's the one thing I'd say.
Nemish asked, like, oh, I heard there's less job opportunities for MS in mechanical, and we have to do forcefully PhD for survival. I don't think, Nemish, it's true. It's very true for aerospace, because aerospace, like, you can't get a job. Like, companies cannot offer jobs to international students. People who do aerospace tend to do PhD in mechanical so that they can work after that. But I don't think that is the same case for mechanical.
Yeah. Kind of relating to sort of the job scenario subject that people have been talking about, really nothing has changed. If you look at the actual legislation or rules, nothing has actually changed at all. Like, and you probably have seen a dozen articles in some Indian newspaper that doesn't exactly know what they're talking about, and they just print a sensationalist headline. So legitimately nothing has changed since Obama has left office, and I'd still be surprised if something does, particularly drastically for international students. I think the social perception of America has changed. I think the perception of America as a destination both for tourism and education has changed. But the thing that you guys should know, if your parents or if you've got family or friends who are really sort of worried about, oh, is there going to be increased racism and whatnot, the most liberal pockets or communities in the US are universities. So you are actually going to be coming to the best of the US, so you shouldn't worry too much about all these things, because universities are very, very proactive in maintaining their communities. Most universities, in fact, I know, have come out in clear support of international students and criticized Trump for various things. So that shouldn't be a concern. And in terms of what specific job opportunities are for one area or the other, I would say the US still remains the most sort of valuable and sought after job market in the world. And I think it's going to be the case, unless something drastic happens, for a very long time. And yeah, so that's my we can dive into this a little bit more, but that's my sort of take that about if you're asking about jobs. One more thing, don't talk about, I think you should really be careful of, don't think about how hiring and recruiting works in the US in terms of placements. Like, one of the most common fallacies that I see, that people sort of have this automatic association. So in India, we think I went to the IITs, and so now I'm kind of guaranteed a good job because companies are going to come, they're going to hire me, and good companies are going to come to IITs. This is not the model like in the US. Like, you'll have companies come for a career fair and they'll chat with you, but they're not going to hire you. Hiring really, really is very individual based, very networking based. LinkedIn plays a huge role in all of these things. So the effect that a university has on your recruiting sort of chances, like, don't assume basically if you get into a university, you're done, like your life is set. That is the biggest mistake you can make.
Okay, let's do we need to write SAT again for transfer universities? I don't think so.
I think it really varies by university, so you should check out the requirements.
So even if you're transferring after 2 years, you'll have to write SAT again, and then
I think in some cases they might ask you. I forget, like, but this is something I can easily you can look up. But yeah. By the way, 2 years is the limit to. You can't transfer beyond 2 years.
cool.
Bhagesh asks, how would you differentiate weak and strong SOPs? As in general, because English is not our first language, we tend to not know how to write sort of crisp sentences a lot of times in paragraphs. The other thing would be strong, clear technical content, like technical content not for the sake of technical content, like name dropping. I did Java and React and like JavaScript and this and that, and I can do mechatronics. Technical content that's really organized and well thought out. So that talks about the papers you've read, or and the third thing I would say, a lot of times the SOP is just about you, right? So it's hard to eventually change it after a point. Like, if you have a good background, that's going to show.
Okay, let me.
So we have.
We are not, Hriday, we are not evaluating any more SOPs. There's already, I think, almost 200 people who sent us the SOP. So it's like a huge number to go through each talk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Aditya Krishna said, your view on Trump denying H-1B visas. Trump doesn't deny any visas, man. Like, that's not how that process works. There's also a little awareness about the political system in the US. So, for example, Trump does not have the power to alter the H-1B system. Trump, at most, what he can do by himself is he could have reduced the length of OPT from 2 years, sorry, the STEM extension, not even OPT, from 2 years to whatever, like 1 year, which was earlier, it was, I think, 12 months and then became 17 months. That's where his power stops. It has to then pass through the Senate and the Congress, which is, the House of Parliament, effectively. And that's a very long process. Also, the changes that they proposed to the green card process, they switched to a points-based system, which is actually much better for international students who are coming in and doing a grad degree, because you just get you just cut the line because you have a higher sort of degree. So actually, my sense is, even if he does change anything, it'll probably benefit master's students, because he wants to sort of weed out a lot of outsourcing companies and whatnot. So, having a graduate degree in the US gives you a huge amount of sort of potential. So I don't think your prospects are going to be damaged that much. Also, one of the things I wanted to cover was, yeah, so we, as Parth was saying, we've got a lot of SOPs. Thanks for your responses. What we are going to do, and we are doing, is we want to sort of bring everyone's questions together in one place, so we can try and answer questions, and we can have friends and people we know and professors and all of these people with expertise in the process communicate with you guys as needed in one place. So we did make a Facebook group. It saves us time, makes our lives easier. It makes you guys' lives easier if you want to sort of stay in touch with us and ask questions in one place. And you guys should join. And you guys should join. If you're a fall 2018 applicant, join the fall 2018 group. Don't pull a WhatsApp where you join every group. If you're a fall 2019 applicant, join the fall 2019 group. The reason, or if you're, or also if you don't know whether you're applying or not, there's a prospective students group we made. The reason for this is the kind of help and the kind of answers and the kind of content we'd want to create and post would differ based on whether you're a fall 18 applicant. Your needs are now going to switch immediately to, once you're done with the applications, how to prepare for internships and recruiting process. How do you navigate the visa process? How do you, sort of get loans and visas and all of that stuff? For fall 19 applicants, what you should be focusing on at the moment is, how do I make my profile better? You have roughly a year. And for prospective applicants, that's a whole different situation where we sort of talk about, why is it worth it, or is it worth it, so on and so forth. So please join based on your, I think the links are in the description. Please join based on where you are in that demographic.
Yeah, I just put the links in the description for everyone if you want to join. I think it'll be really helpful. He has already mentioned why we are doing this, and we don't want to do WhatsApp groups because it's very clumsy and people can just join in, and there's also a limit of 256 people, I think. So once we have 256 people, we cannot track anyone based on your questions or anything, and there's no, like, if you'll just delete the chat, then everything's gone. In Facebook it doesn't work like that. That's why we wanted to do that. We can interact better with you on Facebook.
Yeah, there's also less trolls, by the way, so please join with your actual Facebook profile, because I've seen a lot of, we would ideally not admit profiles into the group. If you're concerned about someone seeing that you're interested or whatever, these are private groups, so no one who's not in the group can see anything inside. So I'd urge you to join with your legitimate accounts.
Yeah.
And also get your friends to join. One of the things that we feel is very wrong with sort of these existing groups like Yockit and all of this is that there's no regulation, right? So you don't have any sort of person who has experience in the process saying, no, this is the correct answer, this is the wrong answer. There's a lot of misconceptions that get thrown around and that get reinforced. Like California has this huge location advantage, which it really doesn't that much. And stuff like, one of the most common ones that I see is when people get into universities, they say, oh, I got into UT Dallas, UT Arlington, and San Jose State. Which one is the best one to go to? And then people will comment SJSU, UT Arlington, UT Dallas, without really going into why. So this sort of word of mouth based perception, which is really flawed, gets reinforced. Like someone hears something and they say, oh, I heard a senior say that they didn't get a job. So that's what we want to combat. There's a lot of rumors going around, and that only hurts you guys. So we want to have more regulation, and so you should join with, invite friends who are legitimate people, or with sort of real profiles, and not let trolls in, so we can actually help people in a more regulated and high quality way.
Cool. If you're still looking for the name of Facebook group, I've put it down in the description. If you cannot look, if it is not coming in the description, refresh your page or open your app again and it'll show up. I think because I just added them. Let me see. Somebody was asking jobs for construction management. So there is jobs for construction management, as Manjeet also mentioned in a couple of live sessions before, that there's, I don't see any problem for jobs in CM. You just have to know the whole internship scenario and how companies work here. But there are jobs for construction management. That's for sure. Does doing MBA in USA is worthy? Do you?
Yeah. No, I mean, see, again,
expensive as fuck. That's I know for sure.
Yeah, but they also get paid way above the,
yeah.
They get paid proportionately.
150, 180, like that.
I mean, if you go to a top program, 200, 300K.
Okay.
So anyway, the first, let me challenge something.
Does that increase though over the period?
It does. Yeah. It does.
I think I'm just gonna do MBA after this.
Yeah, they make a lot of money. I mean, there are lifestyle issues with Wall Street though. I have a lot of friends on Wall Street, and they're not entirely happy with the work-life balance, so to speak.
Too much work, I guess.
Yeah. Plus, the work culture at a lot of these sort of big banks is not. I don't know. This is a much longer discussion. We should maybe do a separate video about this.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
Yeah, what were you saying?
but yeah, it is absolutely worth it. It is. I think the US remains one of the best places to get an education in, and you can't even imagine the amount you learn and the kind of people you get exposure to and so on and so forth. The one thing I'd push back against is don't think in terms of like, is the US worth it? No, it's not. You should be thinking about on a more granular data-based level. So like think about what universities are good programs, because there are some good programs in the Europe as well. Like don't think about it in terms of US, because you know there's no like cohesive scenario. Like we try to simplify things and think what is a scenario in the US? There's no scenario. Like that's not how it's sort of. It's the reverse case of it is like someone in the US going like, um, it's the professional equivalent of someone in the US going, oh my God, India, I love the cultures and the color. Like, don't think in terms of generalizations.
Hi. Okay, I have a question from one of my friends. He's like, what is the difference between SOPs for PhD applications and master application?
Um, the first thing is the bar for PhD SOPs is much higher. That definitely, the PhD SOPs need to show just like 50% greater level of maturity. It needs to be a lot more research focused. Like you need to genuinely talk about research problems that you're interested in. You need to show some level of insight. You can't fake like that is like an extra level of depth that's needed, because there you're really being evaluated on, can this person do research, a very advanced research, because PhDs are funded. You're going to be working personally under a faculty for 5 to 6 years, and so that's a really the bar really rises in terms of your research. And I would say for PhD applicants in general, if you haven't done substantial research, or if you haven't shown demonstrated ability of doing very high quality advanced work, then your chances are quite they suffer. Whereas in the master's process, like you can get away with not having done research. You can get away with a less degree of technicality, but in the PhD SOPs, you really like need to know the subfield and the area you're applying for, and you need to be able to make very intelligent insights and comments about it.
That how important is location for selecting university? I have busted that myth quite a lot of times, and I would like you to bust it as well.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, man. You should really just look at the university, the courses, the professors. These are the specifics you should look at. This is one of the, again, bigger myths that really reinforce in groups like Yocket, that location matters. It does not. Like, as I said, it's not. If you have this model that companies visit a particular university and they hire once they visit a university, first of all, that's false. Second of all, companies don't visit a university because of its location or like have some kind of outreach. They would extend outreach or have some kind of presence or relationship with the university if it's a good university. It almost doesn't matter. And also, universities make a very active effort to stay competitive and to establish relationships in the industry. So it has barely any effect in terms of what your prospects are. You should just look at the quality of the program. Let's see. There are some like very specific number-based questions, guys. We can probably, yeah, like first of all, these scores are not even the most important part of your application. So that's not the way to think about whether you're going to get in somewhere or not, how you should shortlist the university. Another thing that I've noticed is like this really should be done in a quantitative way. Like there should be a data set that's reliable. Someone should be running like machine learning stuff on it. And this is like, don't make the mistake of asking people, because a person at most knows maybe 30-40 universities, and they'll think that, oh, they have some own mental image or perception of the university, and they'll give some like random advice to you based on that. So questions when you ask people like these, that where should I apply, giving your scores, it's not a very precise or accurate way of getting a good answer. So be careful of the fact that you might be misled.
There's a question: does ranking of college matter? I would say like that. That's what I think at least. Um, it's the brand value which counts. You should look for research.
You should look for the people, like look for the ground facts, like look for the people, look at the courses. Rankings will usually have some correlation. So it's not like, if MIT is first and like, I don't know, Columbia is eighth or Brown is whatever. There's a huge difference between these universities. So I'd say it gives you a band. Also because US News does all sorts of shady stuff. Like US News gets paid and all that. That's a whole different situation. But it's you should use that as a band. Like, okay, the top 1 to 50 or 30. There's 10, sort of a difference of 10 in rankings really doesn't manifest, or even 20 really doesn't manifest in terms of your individual student experience. You should look at, like, if you think about it, again, prestige and all these things don't really make a difference that much in terms of what your prospects will be. You just should look at primarily, does this have great courses? Does this have great faculty who I can learn from, or can I make connections through or get sort of opportunities through? And does it have some sort of good alumni at companies that I want to work at? Those are the three main things you should look at.
Okay.
Should we discuss resumes a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's time. So already
Yeah.
we are 30 minutes into that video.
Yeah.
Cool.
We should also take a moment to, again, for everyone who's watching, we've created a Facebook group. We've created separate groups for whatever cycle it is you're applying for. If you're Fall 18, there's a Fall 18 group. The link is in the description. If you're Fall 19 or Spring 19, there's a link in the description. And if you're just someone who's enthusiastic or interested, haven't made a decision about whether you want to apply or not, there's a prospective students group. Why is it there? One, all Facebook groups on Facebook, most of them are shitty, and there's no regulation, and there's no one with sort of expertise trying to bust all the myths and dispel all the rumors. Two, why are there these bins? Because your needs and the questions and content that we would be giving out would be different for each group. So for Fall 18, visas, loans, internships, scholarships, that's what we'll sort of focus on. Fall 19, you have a year, you can improve your profile, that's what we'll focus on. Prospective students will focus on, is it worth it? What are your questions? What are your barriers holding you from applying? So
yeah, and if you're in second year, you just want to watch people's posts and stuff, like join the perspective group so that you can do that, I would say. Like,
yeah, and I mean, honestly, if you're in second year, you're in a great position where you have 2 years to plan out your application, and you can put in a solid application. Like if you follow, we'll discuss, maybe we'll do a separate video, or we'll if you join the group,
I think we can have like a manual kind of thing where we mention what things are important for the application, and we can post that guide on the groups.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Like we're probably gonna be relatively active on Facebook on those groups. So really join the groups. Like it'll give you sort of a constant and centralized place to ask questions. Get your friends to join, and we'll try and do specific sessions maybe for individual groups so we can answer more cycle specific questions. So
the links are in the description. If you want to share it with your friends, the link will be always in the description. Just copy paste it in your browser, or if you're using from your phone, just click it and that'll be it.
Yeah, I'll take a couple of quick questions. Should we create a separate SOP for each university? You should create, not the whole thing. I think the part where you describe your background, it should probably remain consistent. But the part where you talk about why this university should change, and it shouldn't be, don't include stuff like, oh, Professor XYZ's research fascinates me. That's not really a statement with any comment, like with any substance. You should genuinely look at people's research and say, like, make honest comments. Try to actually figure out what is interesting to you, or what is actually interesting about a particular university's course lineup. So those are the things that you should change. Can you discuss just one? Sanya said the name of professor in SOP. I don't quite understand the question. Like you should.
Oh, maybe okay. She wants to know that do you have to pick a professor who you would like to work with, and then put his name in SOP? Like, okay, this professor's research matches my interest. That's why I want to work.
Yeah,
a lot of people do that. So I'm not sure if would you like? I think you can, because if you're interested in a particular kind of work, you should put down that name in the SOP. And I know Avinash is there. He was applying for CM, and he was applying for TAMU. He mentioned a specific professor he wanted to work with. He already got admission from TAMU. So if you're looking for something very specific, some professor you definitely want to work, and you're looking for a research assistantship with him, maybe that's the best thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with Parth in the sense that most people do it, so it doesn't have, it's not some unique thing you're doing. What most people don't do, which is what I recommend doing, is don't make sort of surface level statements like, as I said, I'm fascinated by this research, or your university has great resources. You should genuinely understand that research and say, these are the problems I'm interested in. And this project that was done by this professor took a very unique or interesting approach to that problem. I'm interested in this project for XYZ reasons. This is how I see myself contributing to it in the future, or these are directions that I'd like to take. Something along those lines. Add substance. Don't just name drop for the sake of doing it. Like, if you put the whatever you put in that paragraph or two paragraphs by Googling for 30 minutes, then you probably shouldn't put it. That should be your test. Like, if you haven't spent a substantial amount of time actually crafting that paragraph and figuring out your interest, then that's going to have no impact because anyone can do it.
And one more thing, that edit your SOP accordingly. Like, just don't throw in the same kind of SOP. Not like you change your line, you change the last line that I want admission in your prestigious university. Don't do that. Edit it according to all the universities. See what is going on in the department. See what kind of work is there, and modify according to the university. And don't like just copy the same thing and paste it in the textbook of application.
Yeah. A lot of the people are asking, can I get into University X? There's a much longer rant about that. Join the groups and we can talk about that because it's not super high value for the subject today. Let's focus on SOPs and resumes today.
ASU or SJSU, somebody's asking.
For what? Like, see, again, this is a question, an example of like, what do you want to do in life? It's like, you know, that question is as much about your preferences, your goals, what companies you want to work at, what kind of research you want to do, as much as it is about like, this is not an IIT or another university like paradigm where there's like a clear answer. So that's not how you should think about it. Job opportunities. Okay, we'll do a quick, maybe 2-minute bit about job opportunities. Nothing has changed. The job opportunities for CS, more than any field, are just so absurdly great in the US that I don't even think any country compares. I don't think any country will compare. There's very high demand, and if you go to a good university and you develop the skills, hiring is very, very skills based in the US. So I would.
Yeah, like I feel the same way after coming here and looking at all these people who are working, and seeing the EU job market and Asia's job market as well, like at least for Thailand. The US is like very liberal in visa policies. There's no problem for the language. There's so many international people. Like if you walk into Walmart, you don't feel like you're in States, or like there's so many immigrants. And they say it correct that it's land of immigrants, and US has been built by immigrants. So I agree to that totally. It cannot get more easier than this to get a job, to work here, to like, other than India obviously, because you live there, but it cannot get easier to work anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we should transition to resume. Guys, there's a
Yep.
lot of questions you're asking. Again, please join the Facebook groups. We'll cover all of these questions. You can post questions there, and we'll cover these if we aren't able to cover it. Bharat's getting very impatient. Can we talk about the resume, guys? Can we talk about the resume? So let's talk about the resume.
Oh, okay. I
Not
thought.
Bharat, not the Germany Bharat.
Yeah. He was there for a while. I think he just went away.
Oh man, we lost a valued viewer.
Cool. Resumes.
All right. Again, guys, there's a lot of questions you're asking. Please, the group descriptions are in the description. Sorry, the group links are in the description. Join it. You're asking questions at a level of specificity that's like difficult for us to cover in like all in 1 hour. So join the groups. We'll talk to you there. Join the groups according to your year. So if you're fall 18, fall 19, fall 19, whatever, join based on that. Basim is extremely desperate, and it shows in terms of like his aggressive use of caps lock. Public or private universities, which is the best, it doesn't matter. This is not, that distinction does not count in the US. It's about the quality of the program. Again, Basim, you seem like you should join the prospective student group. Please join the prospective student group and use all the caps you want. Now, resume. Parth, do you have an opening question for me that I should take, and then like mold the discussion from there?
Is there a format for resume?
There's not a hard format, I think, in the sense that this is exactly how it should be, but there's definitely a heuristic, and there's definitely sort of this expectation. It shouldn't exceed 1 page. There are sort of expectations about how the bullet point should be written and phrased. So, you know, like there's it.
You know,
yeah.
Just one thing, like I'm not sure. So there are people who have done so much which they cannot fit in 1 page. What do you say about that?
I don't agree with that though. Like I know some absurdly qualified people, and they have a 1 page resume for the purpose of these applications. And you can certainly do that. I think if you're applying for PhDs and a lot of other sort of more advanced positions, then a CV makes sense. But usually, like one good way, so one hack is make a website, make a LinkedIn profile, link it in your resume. But when someone asks for a resume, what they're really asking is distill your most important achievements in 1 page and give me very, very fact-based, clear highlights and bullet points about what you've done. It's not supposed to be everything you've ever done, because if that was the case, you could go back and say, like, I won the chess tournament in my school in 8th grade. No, it's supposed to be a most relevant, most highlighted professional presentation of your work in a way that's really easy to consume and that's relevant to whatever you're applying for. So don't think of the resume, again, like in general, if you're given sort of a platform to speak or take some time or content, don't take all of it. So that's the thing about resumes. If you apply when you come to the US, if you apply for internships or jobs, you cannot submit more than a page. You'll almost instantly be rejected unless you're applying for like a PhD level position. So you should stick to that, and you should start to get used to that 1 page requirement, because once you get to the US, in the hiring process, you need to have a 1 page resume.
What else? Do you have any questions that you want to pick specifically? We have
18. I would just add to the resume thing. I mean, let's see, guys, do you have any questions specifically about the resume? Venkat, again, you're talking about a specific university. That's a longer discussion. Join the group. We can talk about specific bands of universities.
Somebody was asking, you have to put career objective on a resume.
No. Career objective doesn't. Ranganath, yes, absolutely. That's absolutely unacceptable. Can we add school achievements? Nope.
Yeah, school is too far now. Like if you're applying for MS, don't even put 12th percentage. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, just your undergrad. Can volunteer experience be in the resume? If you're applying for an MBA, yeah, sure, leadership stuff counts, but not for a master's in science or engineering. High school GPA, nope. Should we include research process? Yeah, of course. Okay, let's quickly talk about what should be there and what shouldn't be there. What should be there: research papers, internship and work experience, serious academic projects. Those are the 3 things that should be on there. Your GPA and maybe a list of the sort of advanced courses or good courses you've taken. Those are the 4 things that need to be there. The things that should not be there, like extracurriculars, where you went to like a village and, I don't know, constructed a school library. That's not relevant to Masters in Science. Organizing your college fest. So those kinds of extracurriculars do not matter. Some extracurriculars matter, like if you had a leadership position at IEEE or whatever, some technical organization or seminars. What else? Career objectives don't matter. Please don't put your address. Please do put your phone number. Please do put your, like, whatever your online presence is, LinkedIn. If you're a CS, you probably have a website, a portfolio. Yeah, so it's really just anything besides those four things should not be there. I can't think of anything other people sort of usually put on there.
Can we provide a resume format?
We can.
I actually included, I think in the free SOP review one, I included the Career Center book for Purdue. If you guys want that, like, go through that. There are some couple of resume formats. There's some SOP formats as well. Don't follow it like don't follow the exact thing. Like, just see the format and don't follow the wordings and stuff like that. If I don't like, I feel like there's some, it's lacking some content. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, I would say I think we can do something about it. Again, I'm gonna make another plug for the group. You can join the group. We'll see. The reason I hesitate to give out like one format is because there probably just isn't one format. I mean, I think there's maybe 3 or 4 ways to write your SOP. I think it'll take some time and effort to curate that, but yeah, join the group. Ask us, post a request there, and we'll think about this. Because some formats come to my mind, but again, there are some pros and cons. The other thing that I want to say is, like, format, while important, is not as important as the content. So you can have a one-page resume where you don't sort of follow like a specific type of format, but if you cover really, really good content and you know how to write it, that's still a pretty good resume. Ranganath, should we mention our extracurriculars in the SOP? No, extracurriculars don't matter, man. They're not related to your ability as an engineer or a master's student for the most part. All right, any other? Varad, how much time is required to write SOP? As much time as you need. Like, there's
no specific thing here.
Yeah, you can write it in 20 minutes. You can write it in 1 week. Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote mine in like 3 weeks. Like, wrote the first page and then never got to the second one, and then still was editing at the last moment. Send it out to a couple of my friends, and then still was getting reviewed. Then I just thought that there's no end to this. That perfection is coming in the way.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Mention relevant subjects taken in the resume. No, that will increase the content. That will, because you're attaching your transcripts anyway, so don't do that.
Yeah, actually, fair enough. Yeah, I think if you're attaching a transcript, you shouldn't. But when you do recruit for internships and jobs, you should mention, like, highlight the difficult and advanced courses you've taken.
But again, if you're getting a 4.0, I don't think that makes sense as well.
I don't agree with that, in the sense that, especially for specialized positions, they like to see that, like, it provides additional context that this person got a 3.8 GPA and they took these advanced and sort of difficult courses.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a space efficient way to write that, where you just say coursework includes, and then just write it in one line. Like, don't take a lot of space. That's what you have to be clever about, like, in terms of how you use the space. But I think it definitely makes a difference. It certainly is something that's advised for recruiting. So I would include that. Again, it's not necessary. Like, if you haven't taken a course that needs highlighting for a particular position, then don't. But if you're applying for, like, I don't know, nuclear physics position, and you've taken like quantum mechanics or nuclear physics, and you should mention that, because employers won't have access to your transcript. That's the key thing.
Somebody was asking, like, there are too many groups for MS. Should we make a group for undergrad as well? Maybe.
Sure, yeah. Well, that's not a bad idea. We could make a group.
Yeah, because you are the, like, I think the only resource I have, except for Harsh, that Indian guy, from undergrad, and people have been asking me questions. We can actually work that out.
Yeah, we'll just add another group. I think Parth will post it somewhere. We should, obviously, because we'll try to sort of be as active on these groups. We'll probably be active But yeah, we'll make a group.
Mitul Doshi asked to go for job or direct masters after BTech. Say if your profile is weak, right? Like if your profile is weak, I would say go for a job, get some work experience, get some industry experience, maybe join as a research assistant if you're interested in research. But because if you're going directly for masters, you might have to go with a not as good as university as you can get like after you are done with your job. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, the caveat I'll add is if you have like an offer from, no offense, not a great company. I nearly named a company there. Thank God. But if you don't have an offer from a good company where you're gonna do important, like if where the role is like sort of a good role that you can write about and talk about, then I don't think it's like really that valuable. I think then you should apply straight up, because then you're sort of you're not really adding to your profile, so to speak. However, if you do have a valuable sort of job offer from a good company, then I think it's worth considering. Extracurriculars could be used in resume. Okay, we should also, by the way, touch on sort of jobs, right? Like my take on the jobs is pretty simple and short, which is, as I said, nothing has really changed. The US remains a top global job market for engineering and the sciences. The research is top notch. There's no legislation that's actually come into effect that's changed something. Everything is literally still the same. This is just a perception game. Beware of Indian outlets just printing sensationalist stuff about the slightest of things that like goes around. If someone makes a statement about H-1B, some rogue senator or like some crazy politician, it's like you wouldn't take a comment made by some politician in India about like, girls wearing jeans, whatever, right? Like that you would not use that, or would not want someone from the outside to use that as a fact about the situation in India, right? So that's what you should be careful about, and you should really sort of not take everything not take everything for face value. Even there are a lot of people who just like enjoy fear mongering. So, I heard from someone and that's someone and that's someone. Like ask their actual source and ask them to like provide evidence if they tell you these things, and verify that. Or you could ask us. Why could you ask us? I think
You're doing a great job in plugging. I never plug into anything that much. Cool. There are Facebook groups down there in the description. Go check them out. It's for Fall 18, Fall and Spring 19, and for prospective students who are just interested, or if you're in second year or in first year and you just want to watch people question. Why we are making these groups and not WhatsApp groups? Because there's a cap on WhatsApp groups. There's like we can only add 256. Also, there's a lot more crap which is going on WhatsApp groups, so we don't want that crap. This is a private group, so if you're posting anything, there's a limited people who can see that. I wouldn't like. We will try to answer every question as soon as we can, and we'll try to give you the best solution. I've asked a couple of my friends as well from different branches so that they can help you from mechanical, from industrial, or from CM. Like Manjeet is happy to help in this case. I just talked to him yesterday. So go join that group. It's in the description. If you want to add your friends, send the link to your friends and then they can add as well.
Yeah, the real reason that we're, I think, asking is what happened after this of the last video is like we got like 200 emails. Like my entire inbox is like MS, SOP, MS, help me, you need it, and so on and so forth. So it's just like I still haven't responded to most of those emails as much as I'd like to. It's like
it's crazy,
overwhelming. So it would just make everyone's lives better if we centralize it and put it in one place. Also,
I haven't seen my Gmail. I haven't seen my emails from Gmail since 2-3 weeks. Like I'm always scared to open it anymore. I just go to the update section where there's like card things and stuff, and that's it. Okay, can we? MOOCs are the online courses, right?
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Because I haven't taken any, and I don't have any thoughts on
Yeah,
that.
you can. I mean, but it wouldn't be on my list of the top things to mention. I think again, like you should do sort of a prioritized picking of what you want to add in your resume or SOP, right? Like it's about the most important things. It's not about everything. Like that's part of the art and science and expectation of these documents is that you need to distill your background and put forward the most valuable, high quality information. So if you don't have much else to talk about, then that's fine. Otherwise, you know, that's fine to add. Yeah. All right. Get a room, Parth, and who else?
Um, that's the
Does
name.
yeah.
Okay, you go. You go. I was just.
No, nothing. I was any other questions, guys? Again, like
Yeah,
there's
we are
some.
almost wrapping up. So
Yeah, I have like
somebody's
5.
asking about Australia. Do you have any idea of Australia? That guy texted me on Instagram as well.
I have some idea about Australia. Again, like what does this think about this question? Do you have any idea about Australia? What are you talking about? The cricket, the beaches, the kangaroos, the MBA programs, the masters in engineering, electrical engineering.
Cool.
Like,
Let me take this question. I do have a couple of friends who are studying in Australia and they are doing their masters. If you're asking about MBA, I have no idea. I have a friend who's doing undergrad as well. Australia is expensive. Australia is expensive as fuck. So I'm not sure how will you survive there. Even if you get scholarship, living there is also expensive. Um, yes, that's my thought. Like, uh, and a friend of mine, he got a ticket for being on the wrong bus, and a ticket for 200 Australian dollars. So I think that's like 150 US dollars.
yeah,
Imagine that. Also, you'll not get that much pay after your studies are finished. So
yeah. Yeah, that's the. I should add. Okay, I should maybe apologize that I didn't mean to sort of chide you. What I'm saying is that even when you think about these Australia or any country you're considering, you should look at the universities and specific programs. But yeah, again, certainly if you have questions, you can ask us in the group. Maybe if we do a live session or stuff in the future, we'll be happy to help you. I do have some knowledge, and just like Parth, I think we have sort of friends and people that we can find to get your questions answered. Um, Someone asked, I think I saw an interesting question, which was about
cybersecurity.
again, like job scenarios for courses in cybersecurity. Again, anything CS is a gold mine. Genuinely.
True.
How's the average class at Brown University? I'd have to look at the number. It's not that large, which is great because that means Brown is a very, very tight knit community for master's programs. So you get a lot of interaction and personal time with professors.
One thing, should cybersecurity doesn't like you can't work. I would say because cybersecurity would be country related stuff than army related stuff. So I don't think they hire internationals. They have.
No, but there's a ton of private jobs. There's a ton of private jobs in cybersecurity. Um, like security is a field that never ever will get old. Like as long as there exists software, there'll be a need for security engineers. So every company, Facebook, LinkedIn, like literally you can take any company and they will have security positions open. But yeah, you are right in the sense that you might not get government jobs, but in general, most CS grads don't work for the government anyway.
Yeah, they wouldn't like it, I guess.
I mean they do actually hire like PhD students and stuff after, but they basically like they'll give you a clearance if you show them that you're worth it. They'll give you a security clearance.
Okay, I think it's time. I apologize from both of us if we haven't answered any questions, but again, maybe you can go ahead and plug it in. Join the Facebook groups in the description for fall 18, spring 19, fall 19, and if you just want to hang out in one of the groups and see how the process works, just join that. Link in the description. Add your friends. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in. Do you have anything to add, Rishabh?
No, that's the same thing. Again, sorry, sorry if we didn't cover any of your questions. It's difficult because we're trying to answer as many as we can. Same goes for email. We just got so many emails in one go, so please don't take it personally or be offended if we aren't able to respond. Our solution is to sort of get you on a Facebook group where it's much easier to interact, and we can sort of use our downtime if we're commuting anywhere to answer questions. For those who've gotten sent in their resumes, you'll get it by December 10th. For those who we couldn't service with the resumes, again, our apologies. We try to do our best. There's limited time. So yeah, again, the best we can do right now is get you guys in one place and try to help you there, and maybe sort of keep doing stuff like this, getting other people to do stuff like this, and even answer questions on sort of more light touch mediums like Facebook.
Somebody's asking when will be our next session. I think next session would be 18th of November. That's what 18th of December. Yeah. 18th of December, yep.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it for the video this time, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Join the Facebook groups. There is no WhatsApp groups. Don't ask me that anymore. I don't think I'll make a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Yep. And a vlog will be coming soon because my exams will be done next Wednesday. So thank you so much, guys, for coming in. And until then, I'll see you on the next one.
All right. Peace.